Welcome to Business Communication, everybody. I'm Lindsay, and I'm your instructor for this course. We have a very fun-filled but packed with fun projects and lots of good information this summer 2 session. It is, they say 5 weeks. It's more like 4.5 weeks, so we have a lot each week. I'm excited to get started. I thought to take a minute to go over the class with you and kind of go over what we're doing this week and next, and familiarize you with a few things. So this is what your class looks like. Under course content is where you'll find all of your work, unless I state otherwise. You might see more on my screen than you see on yours. I only have the first couple weeks open for you. Over here on the left side is where you'll find all your good, juicy content. If you go under Start Here, it's where you'll find your syllabus, also the course schedule, your course agreement test. You'll also see that in your week 1 because I've linked it, your week 1 module. But make sure you read that and get that taken as soon as you possibly can. Faculty information, you'll just learn a little bit more about me. Course information gives you a rundown of the course and some discussion post guidelines there. Remind info, I will be using Remind in this class. You just have to text at BCIsFab to 81010 and you'll get all kinds of important reminders, due dates, etc. from me. Most of my students love to download the app because then you can message me directly. It's like sending me a text, if you will, and I usually see those pretty quick. So there's an option as well. Announcements is where you'll see things they'll send out about the class or whatever I deem that I feel like you really need to know. You usually will get these to your email as well, but that's where you'll see it there. But course content is where you will find the meat of your class. So this is where you'll have your weekly modules. I kind of try to organize it to where like everything that we are doing this week you'll see in week 1, everything for next week you'll see in week 2, etc. And so when you open your course content, this is what you'll see. I have everything listed that you have due that week, so that should never be a question of what you have due. I can jump in real quick into your view so you can kind of see what it'll look like on your end. So this is what you see. You'll see weeks 1 and 2 are already open. And when you click on week 1, has everything over here in this table of contents of what you got. I've got lots of videos, PowerPoint, just some lecture notes there for you to read, etc. So that is how each week will look when you click on that weekly module. And so I'm going to go over what we're doing this week and next week to kind of, that way if you want to work ahead or anything like that, you kind of have a rundown of what we're going to be doing. So this week you've got your course agreement test, you've got your introductions. Your course agreement test is just reading your syllabus and agreeing to it. Your introductions, we are a family during this semester, so let's get to know each other, and the more interactive we are, the better I always think the class is. And so this way with our introductions we can get to know each other. We've got chapter 1 discussion, you've got a chapter 2 assignment, and then we have quizzes over chapters 1 and 2. I've always, I mentioned Remind, and I'm giving you bonus points if you sign up. So you can sign up past this week, but you only get bonus points if you sign up by this Sunday, which is July 10th. And so that's kind of what we got going this week. Chapter 1 just is the first few chapters. I'd say chapters 1 through 5 are kind of a good grammatical refresher, if you will, from what we've learned in grade school and so on. So each week, actually we won't be doing a discussion each week, but some weeks we will. And what I'll do is I'll post, like you're looking at chapter 1 discussion. I've given you some information, and here I've listed some very major topics that I highlighted from chapter 1. You will pick one. None should usually ever be duplicated because there's enough to go around. So make sure you put the topic of your subject or of your discussion in your subject line, so that way people will easily be able to tell which subjects have already been taken. They're first come, first serve. So no reserving, no getting dibs. If you want to do mastering the tools for success in the 21st century, then go ahead and work on that discussion and get it posted. You'll also always reply to someone's post with good substance, posing questions or whatever it may be. This is a discussion. I know how a lot of people don't like having to reply to other posts, but if we don't reply and give feedback to each other, then it's not actually a discussion. So that's why we do that. You will be quizzed over every chapter, so I can kind of assess where we're at. So you will have quizzes over chapters 1 and 2. For your chapter 2 assignment this week, we will be looking at different forms of communication. So in your book, and I know some people use a digital version, but in Figure 2.5, it kind of shows you different forms of communications: blogs, emails, letters, etc. There's 10 of them. I want you to list all 10 in numbering format, 1 through 10, and then put what exactly, how you would use that particular form of channel of communication. And so I put the directions there. It's pretty simple assignment, but it kind of gets us thinking about different forms and channels of communication and how we use them. I'm also this week introducing you to our LinkedIn profile, or profile project, if you will, that we will be doing this summer, this semester. So here I have put the information. This is not where you will submit your assignment. It's not due until next week, so you'll find that in next week's module. But I've put the information here in this week module just so you can get a head start and get looking at it, because it might take you a little bit. If you already have a LinkedIn profile, you do not have to create a new one. You'll just be tweaking it based on this rubric / guidelines here that I have here. Okay, so that is what we've got going on this week. I'm going to jump over to next week's work. We will be covering chapters 3, 4, and 5. So this week 1 and 2, next week 3, 4, and 5. They kind of all piggyback on each other. Then you will see that we will actually skip. We are skipping. We go from chapter 5, and then the following week we'll do chapters 11, 12, 13, and 14. Then we go back to chapters 6 through 8, and then we end with chapters 9 and 10. It is a lot of work, a lot of information, because this is a normal semester of work, but in a 4.5-week period of time versus a 15-week. We do a lot more work each week. It's very important for you to stay caught up so you don't get behind, because it's very easy to get behind if you don't. Remember, I'm always here for questions, so please don't hesitate with that. So next week we will be diving into, once again, to chapters 3, 4, and 5. You're going to have a safe social networking assignment covering chapter 3. You've got an email, like professional email assignment, which we will touch on in chapter 5. And then you've got quizzes over every 3, 4, and 5. And then your LinkedIn profiles will be due as well. I think I'm going to do a Zoom later on this week to kind of go specifically over your LinkedIn profiles. I feel like that should be a separate video, but I also want to give y'all the opportunity to ask questions, so I'm going to send information out about that. But here you will find all of your information. Your chapter 3 safe social networking assignment is really easy. You'll just be kind of following the directions in the book, and I've listed where you'll find that. But what you're doing is you're numbering your different tasks, if you will. Should be 1 through 8. Actually, I'm having you add on, so at least 1 through 10. And your book gives you different tips for safe social networking. I want you to list each tip and give your own suggestions, and then you're going to give an additional couple as well. I've got all the directions there. You'll take chapter 3 quiz, chapter 4 you'll have a quiz, and you'll see here I've got writing improvement exercises. These are just for your benefit, nothing to turn in. A lot of my students like them because they can do, if you feel like you need any extra practice, and I have those in there for the first several chapters. And so once again, just for your benefit, nothing to turn in. And then we have our email assignment due next week. So what you're going to do is, I have given you all of the information on what you are going to write your professional email for, and all the information that should be included. I've kind of outlined it here. So you are going to do yours in a Word doc. That way I can easily edit it to send back to you. But and this is the format you should use. So the two from the subject, we've got your salutation, your body, you're opening your body, you're closing, and then your signature as well. If you refer to page 118 of your text, there's a great example there, and I have put all of that in your assignment. You'll take a Chapter 5 quiz, and then your LinkedIn profiles will be due. I went ahead and you'll find in last week's module, or I'm sorry, in this week's module in week 1, that I made a little video that kind of will get you started for your LinkedIn profile. You'll see it here. You just copy and paste that link. It's just a little YouTube video into your browser, and you should be able to see that. I will go in depth more when we jump on our Zoom, and so hopefully a lot of you will be able to jump on that as well. If you look over here, you will see I've got some really good information. You'll see here's your announcements. We've kind of talked about this is just where I'll send little blurbs about things. Your course content, once again, where all your information, the meat of your class is housed. Your discussion post guidelines. This is also in your course information, but I've just kind of rehashed them there. But if you look, I've got this LinkedIn info here. So if you are not familiar, actually, even if you're familiar with LinkedIn, I highly recommend you checking all of this great information out. But if you're not, you really need to. But I've put some really resourceful information in here on LinkedIn that will definitely help you get started and give you some more info about LinkedIn. Resume goodies. We'll be writing a resume for your final in place of taking a final exam. So here's some good information on resumes, and we will dig into that. I'll probably do a Zoom specifically on resumes as well. Interview insight, just some good information for you going forward, because the last chapter 14 of your book talks all about interviewing, which we'll do talk about in week 3. So there's some good information as well. And then here's a place that says tips and other info, where I find information that I just find that would be helpful for my business communication students, and I plug it in here. I've got cover letter writing tips here, and I've made kind of a video. We will also be writing a cover letter in week 3 as well. And so we just got a lot of great information. I love this class because this is a class that I feel like you learn great information that you can actually take with you and you will really utilize in your life, because we will have to write resumes. And even though some people think cover letters are obsolete, a lot of people still want them. You really need a LinkedIn profile just professionally because everyone, even when you go to apply for jobs, a lot of people just want you to utilize your LinkedIn profile. So really good information, very important. I've kind of covered a lot. I tried to make this video not super long, but I think it's ending up being longer than I anticipated. But I wanted just to give you a good start to the class, to give you as much information as possible. Keep look for your email and a remind message. I'm hopefully going to try to plan a Zoom for Thursday so we can dig into your LinkedIn profiles, a project assignment, a little bit more specific, and be a little more thorough with that. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Shoot me an email, shoot me a message through Remind, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And I look forward to chatting with everybody soon.